Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for a bit of an injury update on Antoine Dupont provided by Fabian Gaultier after the match against Namibia earlier. If you missed this, very, very big news that's potentially going to be coming out of the French camp in the next few days with regards to the continued involvement of their star captain, their talisman, the best player in the world, in my opinion, Antoine Dupont, who went off with an injury today and is probably, as I speak right now, at hospital undergoing scans for a potential face injury that we're sort of going to hear the details on in the next couple of days. Before we talk about exactly what has been said, what has not been said, what has been confirmed, what we still wait to be confirmed, and what the sort of the likely prognosis is, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so I'm going to start off by saying right off the bat that nothing has been confirmed. And at this stage, we will have to wait on sort of better sort of medical updates. But it looks a bit worrying for Antoine Dupont. So if you missed the game, early in the second half, there was a head clash, a direct head clash from Johan Deysel on Antoine Dupont. Deysel going into the tackle far too high. Direct head clash where his head clashed with the sort of cheekbone or jawline of Antoine Dupont. Ironically, in the build-up or just shortly after, Namibia actually intercepted a try. This was then cancelled out. A yellow card given to Deysel, which was then upgraded to a red. But more importantly, maybe for France, and more worryingly, Antoine Dupont left the field immediately and looked in some serious discomfort. You could see he was in a lot of pain when he was walking off, clutching that sort of cheek area. And we then heard stories that he was on his way to hospital for scans almost basically immediately. He went down the tunnel, sort of, imagine put on a tracksuit and basically went straight towards hospital. So speaking after the game, Fabian Gaultier provided a short update saying that he is in hospital and there's a suspicion of a maxillar fracture, which is to sort of basically this area over here. This is basically where the fracture is. Now, basically, we're looking at potential fractured cheekbone or broken cheekbone. Now, we don't know what the extent of the injury will be with regards to is it a clean break, is it a bad break? You know, one fracture is not the same as another fracture. However, this is not always a particularly straightforward injury and is something that can keep players out for quite a while, but also something that can be managed. A fracture for a maxillar fracture is often about 6 weeks recovery to a full recovery. That is the usual sort of scope of return to play that people sort of use when they talk about that. Again, it'll always sort of depend on the exact sort of fracture. But if we're looking at 6 weeks, today is the 22nd of September. 6 weeks puts us, well, let's go through the week, shall we? 29th. So if we run it to, so today is, so Friday the 22nd, for example. 6 weeks, which put us 29th, 6th of October, 13th of October, 20th of October, 27th of October, 3rd of November. That would be 6 weeks from today. That is after the World Cup final. The World Cup final is in almost exactly 5 weeks on the 28th of October, which means that he would have to be cleared to take contact probably at least a week before. So he's probably got about 4 weeks. Anything longer and he'll be out of the tournament. Now, he is a player that you will wait for as long as possible. You're not going to rule him out as long as possible. But if this is a 6 week injury, that's him out of the World Cup. There's no doubt about it. The only thing is, and the only sort of silver lining could be the fact that, you know, you can potentially play with sort of those masks, where we have seen players with sort of face injuries, you know, just like, you know, playing with goals and stuff like that. So if he can be allowed to play with a mask, which would protect that area, he might be able to be rushed back and play before then. But very, very immediately, chances do not look good for that Italy game, which is quite an important game for France. You do expect them to beat Italy, but it is quite an important game. It also very much puts them in doubt for that for the quarterfinals, which is in about 3 weeks' time. France says so chances of winning the World Cup do not rest solely on his shoulders, but a lot of it hinges on him. To have lost Romain Ntamack was a huge blow already. If you lose Antoine Dupont, you are losing arguably, and in my opinion, the best player in the world. Tonight alone, 2 try assists and a try. Each try assist was a cross kick from 2 different boots, by the way, 2 different feet they used. He's a phenomenal player. He can create something out of nothing. And this was supposed to be his World Cup. You know, this was, you know, him leading France to the World Cup glory. That was the narrative that was being built. And all of a sudden, we might have lost potentially the best player in the tournament
So France have been so unlucky with their injuries. Jonathan Dante has had an injury so far. Cyril Bai missed the first 2 weeks, made his return earlier tonight. Remain Intermac out of the World Cup. Paul Willemse out of the World Cup. So they've lost a lot of players to injury. Julien Marchand dealing with injuries as well. Lots of injuries in that French camp, and the key players as well. Big names who have been ruled out with injuries. So fingers crossed, it's nothing serious. Again, as soon as we have confirmation, we will put some news out. But until then, we wait to hear exactly what's happened. It is a suspected maxillar fracture. That could be about a 6-week layoff. And if that is the case, and he is up for 6 weeks, that would rule him out of the World Cup. Let me know, do you think that France can win without Antoine Dupont? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.